without green light. Stop when hit without red light.
Green light. Red light.
We are going to make a motion tracking Squid Game doll. What we're going to need to build this project, we're going to need motion sensors, resistors, Arduino starter kit, servo wire, servo connectors, momentary push buttons, other sensors, and some buttons. Now, how are you gonna make this? Well, it's gonna be a great challenge. Let's get started. Now, before we move on to making that complicated doll, the first thing I want to do is do something easy. Let's go ahead and try to make the voting pedestal. I could do this by using the same switches. I could find those. Let's see what we have here. What we have here are two momentary switches. These are the exact same colors of these shown in the real series. Now what I have in these boxes are some counters. These counters use some wires that connect these same momentary switches. Of course I could use this proximity thing that comes with, but we're not going to use that. We're going to use something that looks very real. Now what this does, this counts from 0 all the way to 999999, I believe. I could reset it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take two of these things. Let's see if I could get them on. Now, we're going to take two of these things and make a counter, one for each button. So for trick-or-treating, we could actually have a real working counter for voting yes and no, just like the ones shown here. Now, I have to get the dimensions of this pedestal. Well, not really dimensions, but just the raw shape of it, I suppose. I could cut out some foam board and do a quick measurement. Well, not really measurement, but I don't know. Let's try to get the scale. Have some ruler. Have a ruler. Have a couple of glue sticks, glue gun, and I might end up spray painting anything when I'm done. But with these devices here, I should be able to pull the counter off. And remember, this is just one of the things. I still have this doll to build. Well, let us start. So let's see what we have here. So as you can see, this pedestal has one angle that is 90 degrees with respect to the floor, and the other one is partly 90 degrees, but then goes up at another angle this way, then goes back up to 90 degrees to the floor. And the top goes horizontal 90 degrees, then goes up this way just a little bit. So this should be easy to carve out from these pieces of foam board. now that we have the base design done, we could go ahead and find out what angle uh, these uprights go up to. So I believe it looks something like this, and then it goes back up a little, and then it goes this way, then it goes up again. So if I could get these expansions on the top, that would be good. What I have to do, I have to find, I don't have a protractor on me, so I have to go on the app store and find something that could measure angles using my own camera. Now I could calculate the angles here and up here and simply trace it onto this foam. With a protractor, I found out that the angle between this upright and this outward expansion is 118 degrees. This one here has an angle of 160 degrees. Now we are finished with one part of this voter pedestal. Today we're gonna be working on making the voting pedestal. As you can see here, we managed to have this painted already. I couldn't get this on camera because our time was moving a lot and I didn't have time to video. I just had to start getting stuff done. I had a lot of help from our family doing so. With this voting pedestal, I need to go in detail with more of the components I'll be using. I'll be using two MP3 TF16P modules to be playing the two chimes of the X and the O, or the yes and the no votes. I'll be using some mini speakers, and to make things more advanced, we're gonna be using some of the little counters as I mentioned in a previous shot. These counters will all be triggered by corresponding color switches. As you can see here, they're green and red. I have a couple pinout diagrams. Most importantly, I had to put this together. I already ran some tests earlier to see how these things will work. How did I get this hooked up? Well, I had to go online, find out how to put MP3 files on the SD card, find the pinout diagrams for these MP3 TF16P modules, and then after that I had to find out how to connect everything up, which I've done so before, but now it's a little bit different. Since I won't be using any Arduino or anything for this pedestal, I need two of these modules to work independently of each other. These two modules both each have a different sound, a single soundtrack on each one. So as you can see here, I have them labeled X and O. So that's a lot of technical stuff. As you can see here, this is a mess. I have some jumper cables, I have some resistors, a whole bunch of other Arduino parts. So I think it's finally starting to come together now. Let me just mention a couple other things here. Everything here has to be run and triggered by this one switch. So if you could see here, each switch has a lot of components going straight to it. And not only that, You might see I have some resistors here. I have like 100 ohms here, I believe. Uh, this thing uses one AA battery, which is 1.5 volts. Everything else, the MP3 modules and the same switches, can be run at 5. So I gotta be careful with this when I use this trigger. So I'm just gonna bring the voltage down a bit so this could work. I tested everything last night and I'll show you that in a few. But for now, let me just mention the power setup. I have an ESC, electronic speed controller, for my airplane. This has an output lead for the receiver voltage, which is normally used for the planes again. This has an output lead of 5 volts. I'll just be using the two terminals here. 5 volts powering the whole thing. Step down resistors just for this. Well, all this is just a little trigger. Same thing goes for the output, or the trigger for the speakers. So there you have it. Two identical halves of the same circuit, and that's how we're installing those on this. So let's get started. Here are the sound effects that I extracted for the voting pedestal. Here is a test of the completed circuit. Now with the schematic completed, we could begin a lot of soldering. Okay, now that we have this tedious soldering project done, as you can see, this connector I had to make with many different leads with different pinouts and connectors at the ends. Some have the points, some have the sockets, and that will all be to connect everything up. So let's get started in putting all these components on this board, and that will complete the project. Here is a completed voting pedestal without all the decorations on. As you can see, both momentary switches are lit up with the built-in LEDs for the yes and the no, and both counters are showing the counting of each button presses. The MP3 TFCC modules also play the corresponding sounds. I didn't get to document the process of putting on the electronics too much. I just want to take your time to go over what this thing is again. This thing looks almost just like the original. The only thing is that I couldn't find buttons that will exactly match the correct dimensions. But I mean, these are momentary push buttons. They work just fine. Uh, you might notice I have counters set up here. These counters, unfortunately, there's no way for me to get a trigger count from this to show up on a screen or something on the wall. So I have to put these here for it to register the count. If you guys could come up with some other design for it, well, just let me know in the comments. But this is what I can do for now. This is the whole thing. I showed the schematic once. This is what the underside looks like. So you have the counting mechanisms. each thing you see here is one half. So one half is for this side, the other half is for that side. So you have the counter, speaker, MP3 TF16P module, the momentary push button switch, the ESC that's providing 5 volts, split up into this Y harness, powering both the momentary push button switch and the MP3 TF16P modules. Of course, everything is in duplicate. The counter there again. So when you push this button, it triggers one soundtrack on this SD card to be played through the speaker, and it also grounds or triggers this to register a count. So I don't have this hooked up right now, but if I press it, I will get a count on the counter here, but I do not have the battery hooked up for the light nor the speaker. So that's all I could say about this thing. I had a lot of help with it from my family again. I'll be using duct tape to just color this black, and I'll outline this with smaller tape, and that's about it. Now we're gonna decorate the voting pedestal. In the background you could see my family members putting on the wig for the doll. So today we're gonna make the doll. Finally we're gonna make this thing. We're gonna make this thing with foam. We're gonna make this thing with cardboard. We're gonna make this thing with this mannequin body, some hands. Of course I have pictures here to direct what I'm doing. I've tried to use this foam and draw on top of it, but that didn't work at all. I even wanted to try to use some foam cutter or foam burner and try to carve out and sculpt this thing, but that didn't work. What I'll end up doing, I'll take some scissors, I'll cut just the shape of this doll face out, and I'll stick it on top of this piece of foam. Then I'll use this other piece of hemispherical foam and glue it to the back, and I may carve the edges just a little bit to round it off. I'll use the cardboard tubes as hands, and I gotta get a hacksaw and cut this thing up to use as a feet to be placed here. As you know, the feet are perfectly cylindrical tubes, as you can see, and so are the hands, which are just a tiny bit smaller. So let's get started. We're gonna make the arms out of the same cardboard tubes as we did for the feet. We're gonna be using the same mannequin that attach the cardboard tubes and make cylindrical arms. We're gonna do that using our classic hot melt glue gun and a pile of these glue sticks. We're gonna cut this out, just a picture of the doll's face. We're just gonna glue stick it down. We're gonna trim around the edges. So let's get started on that. So today we're dressing the doll. The doll has been put together. Originally we were going to use glue gun and the glue sticks to fasten the feet, the legs and the feet, but that didn't work. You see here, glue ended up coming off, so we resorted to good old drywall screws. And for the feet themselves, we managed to get some mannequin feet. We're gonna be using some fake hair, actual shoes, and as you see on here, there's a sock on. So we're putting on the two socks for the doll. Uh, this is a plastic mannequin doll. Again, this is cardboard tubing. The arms we have here, cardboard tubing and mannequin hands. We use spray paint this color. We try to get the closest we could find to the doll's color, but I mean this is it. We had some tripod stand to hold the doll up, a piece of pipe from Home Depot. At the back here we put we just drill a hole into the 1-inch end cap for PVC pipe, so that will just easily stick on right here. We have a sign here that we made. These are the doll's clothes. We ordered them from Amazon. Little yellow blouse, orange dress, all that good stuff. We're still gonna be using this as a doll's head. We'll try to like use some markers and paint around it before you put on the hair. At this time I was putting on the doll's socks. Later on that evening, me and my family put on the doll's blouse, dress, and then the head with the wig. So what we're doing today, we're gonna be finally compiling or developing and compiling the main code for the operation of the motion tracking doll. As you see here on my left side of the screen, I have individual codes for the motion sensor, the servo, DF player, and a range, ultrasonic rangefinder. And here's the code I'm trying to develop and work on right now. And I'll be testing everything down here, and let's see how this goes. So this is what the complete setup looks like for the Squid Game doll. As you can see here, I have the Arduino, I have the distance sensor, the ultrasonic distance sensor, motion sensor, the MP3 TF16P module, speaker, a breadboard, DuPont wires, jumper cables. I have this little splitter here from a servo. What this does, I'm just using this to split the positive and negative voltage so I could run multiple devices. The Arduino only comes with one 5-volt output and 2 grounds, so just taking advantage of RC airplane parts. Yep, so this is what everything looks like. The code has been completed. This took me almost 2 days just to come up with this little couple line code thing. But I tested everything, it works, and it's now ready to be put inside the doll. Here are the sound effects that I extracted. Here's what the completed doll looks like. I just thought I might go over some of the most important feature of this video. I mentioned before what the doll was made out of, so I'll just go over it again. We have cardboard tubes for the hands, mannequins, or cardboard tubes for the arms, mannequin hands for the hands. We have cardboard tubes for the legs. We have socks on, and you saw me put that together. The feet, I actually use mannequin feet. We have ballet flats for it. This has on a dress and a blouse from Amazon, some child size thing, purple hair beads, purple hair clip, a wig, and this the torso is made from the mannequin body as I showed you before, and it's sitting on a tripod. So this is what it looks like, and this is about it. Inside the head, I have. Let's see if I could show you. There's a servo there that actually makes the head swivel, and this was what will be used for controlling its head to make it go round and round. We also have a few display accessories. As you can see, we have some paper dalgona cookies inside some metal see-through tins from dollar store. We have some marbles, and I ordered this piggy bank off Amazon and put a LED tea light candle in it, and I colored the bulb amber with a permanent marker, and I put some uh, miniature fake money in it to make it look like the real thing. So today is the big day that we're gonna have this Halloween event for Squid Game. As you can see here, I have a cardboard sign. Actually, I have two of them. This will be used to drive traffic through the neighborhood to this destination. I have arrows, have the doll that has been completed, have the voting pedestal that has been completed. I have a big coffin, courtesy of my family. I have a candy box, driveway tape or duct tape, and many other candies and stuff that's inside. So today we're going to be setting up in the driveway. Here's a video of the doll working without the motion sensor activated.
You will be playing red light, green light. You are allowed to move forward when it shouts out green light. Stop when it shouts red light.
Green light. Red light.
Here is the first game. You will be playing red light, green light. You are allowed to move forward when it shouts out green light. Stop when it shouts red light.
Green light. Red light. Red light.
Here are some photos of the completed projects and the entire event turnout.